Hello there, and welcome back to the game that never, ever ends. I'm Stormy. I'm back to record a game. I put game in quotes, by the way. Can it even be considered a game? It's kind of just a book at this point. Anyway, I don't remember where we are or what we're doing, but here we are. Coming home feels like a lame attempt at normalcy. A false return to it. Although what surprised me more is how easily falling back into my usual routine is after I forcefully tucked all my worries away. For the rest of the afternoon, against what I've told Zachary before leaving, I've busied myself with every unimportant, mindless task I can get a hold of. What can I say? Sleep simply isn't that easy to come by at the moment. By the time the sun sits over the horizon, much of the work I've got scheduled today has been finished. All that's left for me is to deal with this mail. Even Isabella's family has been given notice of the accident, regardless of how I felt about doing it this morning. It didn't take much effort, actually. The words I've been turning around in my head, the same ones I've been dreading to deliver, have long since lost their meaning after the little call with Ashton. Now they're just phrases, syllables, meaning nothing. Her mom took it well, in spite of that, but if there's more to the unruffled reaction she gave, it's one thing she doesn't let show.
So very much like Isabella.
Is this because of the kind of life she had back home? Not that I'll ever fully understand. I'm my parents' only child. We aren't well off, but so far I've lived a relatively easy life. I didn't have to think about bills or food for the next day, or paying for any siblings' tuition on top of my own, or supporting a sick father's medication. All I have to worry about were my grades, if I'd fit Mom and Dad's approval, or what we'd be having for dinner. When put next to hers, they all pale in comparison. They look less like problems and more like petty issues this way.
Petty issues?
But as unimportant as it all sounds, sometimes its ugly head rears at the most inappropriate moments. And sometimes they come through your mailbox in the form of a fancy-looking letter, pretty ribbons and all. Whoever sent this has spent silly money on the envelope alone. Verging on ridiculous, really. I can already imagine Isabella wrinkling her nose if she sees this. Then she'll complain about the unnecessary expenses and rich people problems. I'm almost afraid to touch it myself. This is a letter. Is that a coincidence? Is the letter inside? As if simply brushing a hand against a crisp surface will be enough to put a crease on it, and it'll be a terrible slight to the sender. I read slight to the slender, and I was like, this is a different horror game, excuse me, I did not sign up for Slender Man. But as extravagant as I find this, it isn't really the first time I've received one. Most of the time it's not even for me, so who am I to complain? Either way, no look of surprise crosses my face when I flip the envelope over to see my parents' name written in a neat script.
Nothing new then.
The years in the academy. Did they forget a Y? Am I reading this right? Academy naturally brought it with various connections. People from other fields, art, science, business, politics, you name it. This one, though, gives off a much personal vibe. Letters like this usually come from old students, people who've grown fond of my parents and they in turn treat like children of their own. I've only met a few of them. Most have moved on, become successful in their chosen careers, and little letters like these are all the way of expressing gratitude. It's one thing Mom and Dad are proud of, rightfully so, and I'm happy for them. But there are times I wish they'll remember they have a daughter here. The real one. Not that it's any importance now. It's not like they didn't raise me well and provided for me. They did. I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for their hard work. And like a dutiful child, I do everything I can to give back. Even if it's a small thing, as letting them know they've got another mail waiting for them. The phone rings for a good minute before someone answers. Mom, her voice is warm as I remember.
Becca?
Hi, Mum. How's the conference going?
Well enough. Until your dad sprained his ankle.
Oh no, is it bad?
I'm alright. In case anyone in this family cares to listen, I'm alright. Very much alive, darling.
And there you have it. He'll be up and walking in a few weeks, don't worry. We're going to have to extend our stay here until it heals, though. Is something the matter?
Nothing big. Just that mail arrived for you. I got it last night, but things happened.
A lie. Thankfully, she doesn't notice. Although, if I'm going to be honest, a small part of me yearns for her to do so and ask me about it, but I put down the idea as soon as it surfaces. I shouldn't make them fret. They're busy.
What does it say?
Raise your glasses, give cheers to the good times, blah blah.
Becca manners. That isn't how I taught you to read.
Sorry. You are cordially... it's an invitation, Mum, for a housewarming party. From, Hannah?
The name rings a bell, though at the moment I can't recall or when or where I've heard it recently. It must be nothing too important if I didn't bother committing it to memory. There are a lot of Hannahs in the world, so who knows?
Hannah.
She also wrote you a note, Mum. It says you used to be her private tutor at the Evans mansion, and that she misses you and would love to see you two again.
It makes my heart clench to read another openly say those words to them, the same ones I've wanted to tell them. I want to see you too. It's been years since we've been together as a family, and if there's one thing that hasn't changed from childhood, it's that Mom and Dad are still busy with their respective careers. Out of the country, away on some meeting or symposium, sometimes for months on end. It only grew more frequent with the years until I'm old enough to live on my own. I like to think that's how I've become independent at such an early age. They've always praised me for that. At times I wish they didn't.
Evans? Oh, I remember now. Honey, it's Hannah. Hannah Evans. Remember? Bright girl, 2 years older than Becca?
Didn't she get married a few years ago? 7 now, I think. But, they grow up so fast, these kids.
Yeah, she invited us to that too. Fonte de Medici. But we missed that one because you had to present your paper in Singapore.
We did send her a note after. Still a shame we couldn't attend, though. What is it about this time?
She sent another invite for a housewarming party. Becca, when is it?
This Friday, Mum.
Oh, that's too bad. We'd love to be there, but Da's not in a condition to go walking around. I guess we'd have to decline again. I really miss that girl.
Just get in one of those little... this little motorized... I want to say animals, and it sounds weird, but the ones you see at the mall that you get paid and just drive them around. I did that once, and I got to ride around on like a stuffed horse. I just went in circles around the mall for a while, but it was really fun. Just get in one of that. That'd be such a fun thing to do.
I could go in your place.
I let it slip without thinking. Personally, I've never been fond of gatherings, regardless of how simple people make it seem. But if there's one thing I hate hearing, that disappointed note in Mom's voice always ranks first. Whether it's directed at me or some other thing, doesn't matter.
Are you sure? Don't you have work this Friday?
The event will be in the evening, Mum. It shouldn't take anything away from my schedule.
Schedule?
It's all right. The invite's for 2 people. I can bring someone with me so things don't get boring.
I see.
Yeah!
On my Ashton?
Go on a first date.
Mum, that's a sure no from him. He hates attending parties.
Ooh, but he's very interested in the rights. In like a... not in a romantic or sexual way, obviously. But in a, I'm gonna fucking arrest them kind of way.
But I'll see what I can do. If not, I can always bring... I can always go alone. I'm a big girl now, I can handle these things. This isn't too much of a big deal.
Okay, if it's not going to be a big problem for you, I don't see why not. We owe you this one, darling.
No problem, Mum. I'll even say hi to Hannah for you.
Please do. And let her know we'd love to see her once we're back in the city. Leave her our number or something.
I will.
But you know, the two of you would have become really good friends. Don't you remember? You met with her once. If my memory serves me right, you were 12 then?
This too, I can't recall. It's probably one of these meetings where we only talked a bit before going our ways. If she did leave an impression, I'm pretty sure I would have written about it somewhere, or at least recognized her name. As it is, the only few people I remember clearly at the time of my life is Ashton and Mandy. To some extent. Mandy. Mom must have sensed my confusion because she laughs.
Don't push yourself too hard, darling. Really? It felt like having two daughters back then. Sometimes I wish they didn't send her away to boarding school. But, well, you know how often that goes with them. Still, try talking to her while you're there.
Oh, we'll see. I'll let you know what happens after.
I'm looking forward to it, darling. Take care of yourself.
Will do. You too, Mom. Bye. Tell Dar to be careful next time.
She chuckles then. A hearty one, tender and always light on my ears. She may be a stern teacher, but this is the part of her I love the most. The sound of it still echoes even as our call comes to an abrupt end, bringing with it a memory from so many years ago, when life and responsibilities that accompany adulthood are things far from our minds. If given the chance, I'd love to go back to those. I don't dwell on it though, shaking it all away almost as soon as the memory forms a clear picture in my head. I've always wondered how Isabella can easily pretend everything's normal over a phone call, then bounce back to her usual self immediately after. I've seen her do it plenty of times. For me, it just drains whatever energy I have. Soon the exhaustion I've been keeping at bay since last night rushes over me, creeping to my tired bones, weighing heavily on my sore muscles. Here and now, I'll allow it. And with another night I'm about to spend on her bedside watching over her, waiting for the tiny bit of miracle to happen, I can't afford to stay like this. Bloody hell, Zachary will know in a heartbeat if I don't follow up on that promise. So with another sigh, I put everything at the back of my mind and tread back to my room. A long night awaits ahead of me. 4 hours later, I'm heading back out after a short nap, ready and dressed for a different waiting game at the hospital. An empty traveling bag dangles freely in my hand as I head straight for Isabella's room first, unlocking the door with a copy of the key. Is this Zoe 101? Because the painted key. Can keys come? I mean, keys could probably come in that color, right? I've seen those key machines at Walmart where it's like, here, do you want a hamburger painted key? Them shits are weird. She lent it years ago after I complained about the mess and offered to helped in cleaning it up. I thought the gesture was completely unnecessary back then. After all, I could always knock. But she never did bother taking them from me, always returning it or turning away from the conversation whenever I insist. At one point, I simply stopped trying to hand it back to her. Who would have thought I used it for this purpose?
Isabella, I'm coming into your flat, all right? Your aunt asked me to bring you a few of your things. Don't worry, I won't touch that thing you've been hiding under your bed.
Hello? Laughable. What's under her bed? This vain attempt at courtesy when there are no ears on the other side to listen to them. So without waiting for the answer, the ghost is going to be in there. I can feel it in my bones. So without waiting for an answer she's not here to give, I push the door open and step inside. Her unit. I'm just looking around frantically, like where the fuck is the ghost? Her unit's still a mess. Instant noodle cups on a table, pile of clothes on one side, paper strewn about everywhere in an unkempt mess. Bed. Where did I get mess? Among other things. This much is given. Will always be given. I've been here several times already, and I still wonder how she can function like a human being with a place in this state. She didn't even bother turning off her telly last night before leaving. Now, it's filling the room with even more depressing news.
The authorities are still trying to find the cause of death for all the victims. Early investigation revealed most of them were employed under Briar Realty Corporation at the time of death. Meanwhile, BRC has refused to comment on this.
Sighing, I reach for the remote to turn it off. No more of that. We've got plenty of negativity going around us right now. Besides, she'll definitely complain about the electric bill if I just leave it, even if it's entirely her fault. However, that's neither here nor there. This little detour isn't for this. It's for her aunt. Let me read this. Hi! Hoi! Thanks for letting me know about this. I'll be by in a few days. Just need to sort things out with my work. If it won't be too much to ask, could you bring her Can you bring her some stuff for the hospital? Only 2 or 3 days so I can text straight here. There, thanks. Tinks. I did not read that right at all, and that's okay. Only for 2 or 3 days, so I can't head straight there. Huh. Okay, cool. A little request from her if we could bring a few of Isabella's stuff. Just for 2 or 3 days, to make caring for her easier when she takes over from us. She doesn't elaborate much. The message itself is short and direct, no mention of the accident or even Isabella's name. But the mere lack of it holds enough gravity. It speaks of the things we all dread facing in the next few days, and the little truths we have to ease into after. Both of us know this isn't a one-day thing. It might last weeks, months. Bloody hell, some even continue on for years. Thinking of those numbers alone drains the optimism out of me, but I refuse to wallow on them. Think of what Zachary said instead. He's right. He has a point. We've all known her for years ago. We all known about her years ago. She's stubborn.
And she might make it through because of it.
The odds are, so to speak, astronomical. But she's beaten worse before. She might not even need a miracle, so the doctors blatantly told us to avoid hoping for. If she tries hard enough, she'll probably win over with willpower and nothing else. If that ever happens, and unsightly as it may seem, I will laugh at their faces. Just in imagining how it might go brings a smile to my face for the first time. Somehow, it calms the whole task of packing what little essentials she might need. It becomes less of a chore. In less than half an hour, I'm done. Before leaving, I spare Isabella's room one last glance, disturbingly quiet now without her in it. I'll get a chance to scold her for the mess later, then we'll argue about it like we often do, like normal. But for the moment, my concerns are best left here. She doesn't need those right now. Hey, I'm back! What's up? Hey. I've been thinking about this for a while, like every time I see this blonde doctor guy. First of all, these two look like Luke and Hannah, but also, I don't know his name, but the blonde guy looks like that one dude from Pokemon Black and White with like the blue swirl in his hair. I don't know what his name is. I think it starts with a C, but he looks like it. Every single time I'm like, hey, it's that guy. Even before it never crossed my mind I'd ever feel apprehension over a hospital visit. No one in my family has experienced illness to warrant an overnight vigil. And when a relative did pass away here some years ago, I was still too young to commit the details to memory. I recalled the tears, but the emotions simply felt too distant to stick. In truth, everything I remember of the hospitals are the bright lights, the cozy private rooms, and the doctor's tender smiles.
Until last night.
Now the lights glare, shining far too brightly, intensely against my eyes. The smile from the on-duty nurse founders. Under every single... does it mean flounders? Founders. Under every single uncertainty. I feel bad for, like, tripping over my words, but sometimes I genuinely am just like, wait, is this actual English? The room at the end of this ward looms forebodingly ahead of me. This being the second day has thankfully dulled the edge to it. Somewhat. There's still the voice at the back of my mind, whispering, expecting the worst, while hoping to all that is good in the world that I won't find an empty bed and equally graver news upon my return. But I push all these thoughts down as I can... But I push these all down as far as I can the minute I near her room. Should there be a comma? Gotta stop judging grammar. I gotta stop. It won't do for Zachary to see me this way. He'll send me back home for sure. The latter won't do either. I'm not going to let him, when all the help we can get will only be between the two of us until her aunt arrives. After that call with Ashton, with the way he sounded, I don't think he plans on he shows up. You're about to see. He probably thinks he'll be more useful out there. I know he's just doing his job, but it almost seems like he's using it as an excuse this way. But what exactly is there to avoid here? He's so willing to face everything head on, but this? How absurd. Regardless, whatever the answers to those will have to wait along with many others, as I give the door to Isabella's room a mild push.
Hey, scared cat?
My hand stills. Ooh, get ready for jealousy. My whole body freezes, stopping me almost a hair's breadth from fully opening the door.
Ash?
A frown soon follows my confusion. Oh, god damn. It hurts. It actually, it hurts my heart a little bit. Oh my god, romance gets me, man. I can't do it. Oh my god, he's holding her hand, her wrist. Oh my god! I don't even ship them. Ash is a bitch, but I'm still whew. Romance. There, settled on the edge of the bed, is the last person I expected to see here. Only a mere seconds ago. Sitting almost too comfortably at that, with a small smile gracing his face. As if last night's events hadn't taken a huge toll on him. But it's obvious. His fatigue is there, and the tired lilt in his voice, the detached look in his eyes, and the manner his shoulders droop. Goof droop! He's barely keeping himself together. Just looking at him right now makes me regret ever thinking he's simply making excuses out of his work. I should have known better. Sorry. I don't know why goof droop got me. An apology immediately forms in my head. Excuse me. Already at the tip of my tongue. Although before I can even string words together, he continues. He has yet to notice my presence, and I've yet to make myself known. But somehow, something's in the way he speaks next prevents me from doing so, despite the casual note he takes. Something anyone, including me, isn't supposed to ever hear from him. Something deeply personal.
Really, how long are you planning to stay like that? You've been criticizing my sleeping habits, yet look what you're doing. I hope you know Zach and Rebecca are already losing sleep over this.
Ashton pauses, holding the moment, allowing his words to seep into the air. He means that as a reprimand, or I assume he does. It sounds like one from the way he has phrased it. Yet the tone of his voice betrays their very essence, and not long into the silence he chuckles. Low, close to breathless, and if I listen closely, I'd say there might have been a hint of long-held fondness in it.
But this is how you've always been, isn't it? Clumsy, careless, a scatterbrain and a crybaby. Always getting in trouble. Always getting us in trouble.
He trails off. Another pause. Another held breath. Then he sighs.
Always making me worry.
Ah! My heart zone! Ah! Okay. And with it, the air inexplicably shifts to something gentler, warmer. A quiet little thing filling the room that neither seeks to stifle nor confine. Instead, it only lingers in the silence, bearing simple truths no mere words or grand gestures can express. When he finally chooses to break it, he does so with all the care in the world. Softly in hushed tones, fragile in itself.
But those things...
Because sometimes, all it needs is not a thunderous declaration, but a single fleeting second of small smiles, tender touches, and sincere honesty.
Those things... I love those.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me, game. Like, I knew that he had to think for her, but oh my god! This... Shit. No, I'm still trying to get Rebecca and Ash together, but oh my god, my heart. God, okay.
And everything.
Oh my god.
Everything that's you.
Oh my god. I'm probably blushing like furiously right now. Oh my gosh. Woo. Oh my god, I can't do cheesy romance. I shouldn't be this like warmed or embarrassed. Here in this room, amidst the faint... He said he loves her! Here in the room, amidst the faint whir of machines and the soft moonlight streaming from the windows. In this little space, those words were louder than the briefest of sighs, and that lone second forms a memory. One he'll probably keep even after this moment fades with time. One I'm intruding on, never meant for my eyes to see or my ears to hear. The prayer that comes at the end of it is never for me to behold either.
This place feels a whole lot emptier without you. So please, if you can somehow hear me, come back.
Oh my god. But I can't bring myself to turn away, even as silence once again seeps into the room and only the beeping of machines remains. Even as he himself cowers under what everything he stands for.
This is stupid.
Because isn't that where Zach comes in? Because I understand with the most painful clarity the other truth what the scene proffers. With the tiny gleam in Ashton's eyes, his darting glances and his kind smiles convey. Little things, little gestures. To others, it may seem like nothing, but to him, it means the whole world, because it's the only way he could say everything without fumbling or losing his nerves. Right from the very start. I know. I've always had an inkling. The thought has always been there. Hiding, tucked and neatly sealed away in the back of my mind, in the same manner he keeps his own secrets close to himself. Which is why there's no jolt in me, no surprise. Just a slow, aching, burning realization of a truth long held. A feeling never meant to be for me. And yet, in the end, a flash of anger still surges within me. It clenches, pierces, leaving my heart torn and numb, draining every color and noise from the world around me. The bag in my hand hangs weightlessly in my hand. Wait, why would you put hand twice in that sentence? As the magnitude of those words gradually closes in on me. You didn't want to hear this. You didn't want to see this. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have gone here. But before I can move and force my feet to take a few steps to save myself, Zachary's voice echoes from the room, deep and still rough with what's apparently sleep. Utterly clueless of what has just transpired only minutes ago. How I wish I could be so oblivious to it as him right now.
Hey, Ash.
Everything snaps back into place as it sounds. The veil lifts from my mind. All of my reasons for being here rushes back to me along with it. No longer held by that familiar, bitter feeling slowly consuming my thoughts. But it's still there, coiled in a tight knot in my chest, simply waiting for another chance to unfurl itself.
How long have you been here?
Just came in a few seconds ago.
Lies.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you.
Figures. It's not a problem. You probably need to rest anyway.
You're the one talking. You look like shit.
So I've been told.
Seriously, how long have you been up?
18, 20 hours or so? It doesn't matter. I'll get some shut-eye later. Where's Rebecca?
Funny how it... Oh no! Girl! Girl, it's fine. Funny how he remembers me now. Not a few moments ago, he's unknowingly taken the one little thing I hold dear and allowed the burden of his bloody sentiments to crush it. After all these years, I'm the one that becomes the afterthought. But I take this mention of my name as my cue to compose myself and hide all of these somewhere safe, preferably somewhere no one will find. Just like how it always has been. Ultimately, this isn't what I came here for.
I sent her home early, but she'll be back too.
And this is where we're gonna end it. I don't know why I fangirled so hard, but I'm just like, oh my god. Romance and story. Oh my god. Whenever we play, I'm planning on playing Dandelion at some point, which is like, it's such a shitty dating sim, but my god, I love it so much. And I'm planning on playing it, sometime, and the whole time it's just gonna be me like squealing, just because I'm such a sucker for romance. Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful day.